ready for a very special day. This is a very special time. Show me a hill I can climb. Give me a mountain to move, and I'll prove that it's a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day.
Let branch manager Autumn Scott Hall and her staff at Salem's Leader One Financial Office on the public square help you live your best dream with just the right financing. Autumn and Camissa are licensed for all FHA, VA, USDA, conventional, and jumbo mortgage programs. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned real estate investor, or simply looking for refinancing options, Autumn's team will help you and ensure you receive the right mortgage for your unique financial situation at a competitive and fair price. They'll communicate with you all the information you need to know when you need to know it, while offering the best mortgage loans for your financing needs. Call today to get started, 812-883-0670, or stop in and see Autumn or Camissa today at 18 Public Square, Suite A in Salem. We're ready to open the door to home ownership for you.
Turning Point Church in Scottsburg is a church of second chances and new beginnings, and has something for everyone and every age. Showers for those in need are going to be available on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 6:15. Food will also be available afterwards. If you're in need of more than a meal, Turning Point has food giveaways twice a month. Coming up in December, they'll have December the 11th and December the 18th from 11 to 1 p.m. or until the food runs out. Turning Point Church is located at 899 West McLean Avenue in Scottsburg. For more information, contact Pastor John Jackson at 812-752-7857 or find the church's Facebook page online. And a good morning to you. It is a terrific Thursday morning. Beautiful sunshine coming in that window.
Yes.
So let the sun shine in. Face it with a grin. Because smilers never lose and frowners never win.
I love that.
Yeah, anyway, talking about letting the sunshine in. Yes. All right.
I'm a firm believer that all sunshine solves all the world's problems.
All of the world's problems. Right
all
there.
of it. Just go
So-
step out in the sun.
So we need air, we need water, and we need sunshine.
That's right.
Those are all of our needs this time of year, right?
I just like the water to be in something instead of coming from the ground.
Well, that's, yeah.
Which, you know.
This is true, bubbling oil.
But you know who also makes my life better?
I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah, the Coffee Club sponsors.
Yes.
Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Roses, Fox Pearly Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn.
Oh, sorry.
It is a very special day. And Leader One Financial, NMLS 12007, and we are an equal housing lender.
I'm over here firing them right and left. Thank goodness I'm not NASA and the missiles. Whoa, boom.
Well, that was a mistake.
Fire in the hole, Jordan.
I love that. I love that. Makes me happy. So,
Good thing I'm not that. All right, we are on the 14th day already of December. Do you realize that? Crazy.
that means we're
So
almost.
wait, how
halfway
many days are we?
through. 31 days.
No,
in this month. It's the
you got
14th.
that countdown.
We have
Okay,
11
so
days till
11
Christmas.
days till Christmas.
Yes.
Okay, so hang on.
That's
So
what the snowman on my piano tells me.
look at that. Would he be wrong? Never.
No.
Okay, so that's I've got to say this, Autumn Scott Hall. This has to be said, okay? 11 shopping days for all you shoppers out there. Shop, shop, shop away. For you woodcutters out there, chop, chop away. It's just, it's got to be said, okay?
Yeah.
Several times, every
Shop
time,
and chop.
all the way. 11 days. Well, I'll just keep flooding it.
My kids keep trying to turn the snowman's nose to make it sooner.
Oh my God, I love that.
And I
love that.
finally think I've got through their head. It doesn't work that way.
Well, instead of I'm going to put this actually on my social media, but instead of an advent calendar, I just open up my cabinets.
Oh.
Oh, for this day.
I love that.
Ooh, I find this. No, actually, remember, I don't have the gadgets.
No, you don't, and I do.
I'm such a minimalist and all that.
you know.
Do you think that word could even be in my sentence?
I'm not against minimalism.
No, I mean, look at me here.
No, I'm not here. You have all the gizmos and gadgets here.
Yes, I have gizmos and gadgets. But not at home like that. No, I don't.
Biscuits and gravy tonight.
Ooh.
You don't have to have gizmos and gadgets.
Oh, you're gonna
just a good pan.
You don't even know what's coming up because we're going to tell you what we're
is
celebrating today.
What am I
How
celebrating?
apropos, Autumn Scott Hall, you are above the curve there.
Is it biscuits and gravy day?
I think it is. Let me see.
That would make my heart so happy.
On to the 14th day of December. Today is free shipping day. Shipping. You know,
You ship me to someplace warm.
Ship my pants. I ship my. Remember all that?
I do remember those commercials.
Remember
That's
that?
good times.
Good shipping.
Yeah.
Free shipping. This is Monkey Day. You have any kind of a certain monkey you like?
I have 3 monkeys at home. I don't need any more.
Monkey.
Yeah, I don't need any more.
Wait, 10 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off. Okay.
I broke their tooth.
I like them. I like monkeys. Matter of fact, I really do like monkeys. But right now, I think I'm a little scared of them. I don't know if their strength is just like, you know what I mean? They're a little bit unpredictable, you know? They say they're not good pets.
I am a firm believer that no wild animal should be a pet.
I agree. Let them be.
Yeah, I don't think that is okay. Do not make them pets. Let them live their life in the wild.
There you go. Well said. Okay. Yay! National Biscuits and Gravy Day.
Hot dog.
Hot diggity dog. Hot
That's
diggity
what's
dog.
on my list today.
You know what? You can't go wrong with breakfast for supper.
No, and my kids love biscuits and gravy.
How could you not?
You know, there is a good possibility I may not even have to be the one to cook it.
Well, and love that
That's
even
the
better.
Best. That's the best of it.
I'm sorry, men doing that, men cooking. I'm all for that.
Justin's a great cook. He doesn't know it's on my list today, but it is in fact.
But I think like breakfast or like when you bring a grill out, I think they really like to do that.
Mhm.
You know, and I'm all for that. I love that, and they can do a good job. You know.
Yeah.
But I think biscuits and gravy are something that probably like, and I'm not, there are families that have that real big breakfast and I'm good for you, them. But I think sometimes it doesn't get eaten as well as it would for supper.
Yes.
Because everybody's in a hurry. And you know what I mean? Like if you fixed it for breakfast this morning, I'm going to guess that your kids probably wouldn't finish it.
I'm going to guess that I'm not up early enough to do that.
Let's say in the rare occasion, let's go.
Sometimes we do like on Saturday or Sunday mornings, we'll do like we will, but we don't eat like we eat at 9:30.
Yeah, see, I think that's yes.
And
but getting them up at 6 o'clock in the morning and setting the biscuits and gravy in front of them,
it doesn't get eaten as well.
I think you'd have some feistiness. You know?
So I do like making it for dinner.
Yeah. So I think that sounds delicious. National Screwdriver Day.
I have some screwdrivers.
Well, I think they were talking about the alcohol, but maybe
different type of screwdriver.
I did see this though, and I'm not, I'm just giving ideas. I saw this on TikTok where you take your orange and you cut it up in slices, and then you take the slices and you put them in like an ice cube tray.
Okay.
And then you pour orange juice in them, and then you put them in the freezer, let them freeze. And you don't, I mean, it said like if you were making the mimosas and and all that, you could just put that in a real pretty glass, and then you pour your.
Yes.
But you wouldn't have to do that. You could do that for the kids too. That would be fun.
Yeah, with some Sprite.
Yeah. Oh, Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I love the thought of beautiful drinks and beautiful. It is the execution
Beautivous.
that gets
Yes.
me every time. And you know, I'm not an ice fan. I don't love ice. Actually, I don't drink ice at all. So
Oh, okay.
it's a great thought. But
Uh-huh.
I fell at the execution of it.
Well, but the thing is, though, so like if you took your warm Sprite and you put it in there, your
Mhm.
ice is going to melt, and then you would have just a beautiful drink. You know, it'd be
You
nice
would.
if you were doing a party or something. You were hosting a party, but also over at Walmart, they've got all of these. Like you've got sparkling, non-alcoholic sparkling
Yes.
cider, cider, grape juice, apple juice. I mean, so you could do something like that.
My
And I
kids
love
love
those.
that
Those
sparkling
they are
juice.
delicious. Those are good. They're.
Yes.
I'm with them. I would drink a glass with your children.
I would drink a glass with my children. You can come join us. Come join us. We'll have some cheese and crackers too.
I guess we should invite the mom. I guess I would say to the kids. Should we ask your mom to come over?
My kids actually, funny story. My kids, some of their favorite meals,
Mhm.
like in the summer, we don't do it in the winter, but a lot of times we'll get like the sparkling water or the like my kids like the frescas too. So we'll get like the sparkling juice or the sparkling cider, and then I'll do like not really a charcuterie because I'm not good at that, but we'll do like salami and cheese and crackers and fruit, and we sit outside and we just
No.
eat al fresco.
Absolutely.
And they love that. It's so much fun.
Well, you could take that, what I was just talking about, the ice cube drink, and put
You could, yeah.
that over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
And it probably would melt very fast in the summer.
Very, very fast.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Very, very,
Rapido.
very, very fast. Okay.
Yeah, you know, the kids love that because they think it's special, and I love it because I'm usually running behind and it's quick and easy.
Hey, you know what I mean? It works. Yeah.
It does.
It's fun. Yeah.
So
All right. They're having hors d'oeuvres.
they're having hors d'oeuvres. Yes.
All right. Roast Chestnuts Day.
Chestnuts
roasting on an open fire. I think every time we hear any kind of reference, we have to sing it. Okay.
My kids are quickly learning that.
Oh, see, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah.
Roast Chestnuts Day.
Have you ever had a roasted chestnut?
Yeah.
I actually do enjoy chestnuts, and I feel like chestnuts are the underdog of the nut world.
I agree. Bring them up. Bring them forward.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
not gonna
see more attention given to them. I
like if
that.
you think about it, you can't walk over here to the Walmart and find chestnuts in the nut aisle.
And they're
You
definitely
have
not roasting.
almonds, macadamians, cashew. You have all these other nuts. No chestnuts. You even have hazelnuts over there. I like
Walnuts,
chestnuts.
pecans. I
Yeah.
mean, there's nuts. It's nuts over there.
Yeah. So chestnuts are very underrated.
And they're definitely not being roasted.
No, and they should be because they are so.
Oh, I
good
know.
roasted.
I know. So, fun fact: I went to New York, and there was a little stand roasting
Chestnuts. I would have bought a bunch of those.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
So good.
Yeah,
A little bit of
so
bean
good.
cherry on a spinach salad. So good.
Bean cherry.
Bean cherry.
Bean cherry. Oh, I know.
You get a
Bean
roasted
cherry. Yes,
chestnut.
yes.
You get some spinach, a little bit of roasted chestnuts, a little bit of like those bean dried cherries, or you can even keep them. I'm making this up in my head as I go, but a little gorgonzola cheese with some grilled chicken on top. That would be a delicious salad.
Yeah.
So good.
So good. So good.
Kind of want to go find those ingredients now.
Let's blow off the day and just go get that.
I
Let's
love
just eat
salads.
big salad. I'm there with you.
Yeah, that'd be a little festive holiday,
Ooh.
red and green.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
white with that gorgonzola.
Oh.
You don't even need salad dressing.
I think we'd have friends. I think people would come over.
Or maybe a drizzle of balsamic vinegar.
You know, they're talking. Now you're talking my heart.
Yeah.
Now. What about the Brussels sprouts too? We need to.
I
Bring,
could shave some of those.
I was
going
going
to
to say,
there
put
too.
some of those. You know how I like when you do
I do
those.
too. I
You-
love
you
could
know how
roast
I
your
like that,
Brussels
baby.
sprouts with your
You-
chestnuts.
You know I like that, baby.
That sounds good.
You know how I like that dish.
I'm Googling it right
Yes.
now. See if
And
I
you
can
have
buy
got,
it.
and I want to say, you have got a Salem Lions coffee cup that you bought from the Salem Middle School.
No, my kids. This is my Christmas present for my children. They
I'm
did get it from the Brady Shrum Santa shop. though.
Okay, I'm like loving every bit of that.
Yes.
Is that not the coolest thing? It was Brady Shrum Elementary.
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
the Brady Shrum.
I got one too.
Elementaries.
I got one too, and I'm like over
Oh,
the
we
moon.
can have matching mugs.
I know. I actually have my McDonald's cup, but
But yeah, so my kids brought this home for me for Christmas.
I love those, and those are so nice. Now
They're heavy. It's a good heavy mug.
It is.
And I was actually, I was kind of like, okay, full disclosure, I love what our schools are doing. So
Yeah.
I support our schools in that manner. But let's be honest, as a mom, I was like, please don't bring me something that I'm going to pretend to love.
I know.
You know, like, let's be honest. Sometimes those Santa shops, you're getting, honestly. But I guess the STEAM classes were actually making these. So this is a very sturdy mug.
Yeah.
Like, this was one of them. They were so excited when they pulled it out. I didn't even have to pretend to be excited.
No, right. Yeah.
You know what? Like, I didn't have to even pretend. I was like, I love that.
Me too. And I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of a, there's not a lot of things that I'm in this, but I am a little bit on my coffee cups, you know, because coffee is very important to me. And I don't want to say a coffee cup snob, but just a little bit like.
I kind of am though, so
okay.
It's okay.
All right. So we share that. But I love this cup. This is like a cup that if I was designing a cup, this would be the cup I would design.
Well, and here's what's funny. So my littlest one brought me this white mug that says Salem Lions on it.
Yes,
like,
I like
heavy.
yours. Yeah, mine's the black one.
My daughter brings me home the black one that says Blessed. So I actually, in fact, have two.
Look at you. I might be jealous.
I'm cracking up because they each bought me a coffee.
Well, they knew that was important. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm not mad.
But see, I wouldn't be. Those are things that I'm going to use. Yeah, that's going to be.
I was not
well played.
Yeah, I was not mad.
Well, I love the whole idea, and I think it's fantastic, and that they made it more special.
Yes.
I'm like over the moon with all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got one, and I'm so excited about that. And tonight is going to be the big unveiling of it all.
Unveiling of those.
And we've got it. I really just can't get enough people there. I just want everybody, please, if you're listening, please come at 4:00. Yeah. It's going to be wonderful, and the kids are going to be showing, they're displaying what they're doing, what their activities. It starts at the middle school, and then we'll head over to the high school, and it's going to be a great time. I hope everyone comes out because it's like a proud mama. All of us, you know what I mean, are right.
And I'm a little sad. I am going to actually miss it because I do have a closing today at 3:30.
Oh, well, good for you. Yeah, but that's a good problem to have, right?
Yes, it is. It's
good,
a great problem.
What a blessing for a family.
Yes.
You know, to get closed on it right before Christmas.
I did want to be there. So I'm hoping you will Facebook Live that.
I definitely will.
So
yeah. And if there is something that, like, I mean, if you get done quick enough, you know, I mean, come on over.
Yeah.
But I do want to say how wonderful, what a blessing for a family right before Christmas, getting a closing on a house.
Yes, they're very excited. We're very excited. So
I'm excited, and I don't even know who they are, and I don't even need to know. I just am excited for somebody.
Very excited. We can talk about it later when it's public record.
I love people. I mean, blessing people like that. Isn't that just fantastic? You know what I mean?
It's a good time.
It
always makes me happy.
I would be very well. I know, but even you know, what I mean, just isn't that great? Yeah. I just love that. Yeah. So tonight at 4:00, starting at the middle school, it'll be a great time. So come out.
Yeah.
And it's a great time to showcase. And everybody's asked, like, what's it look like?
It's so cool in there.
It's beautiful.
It is.
The furniture, if I could have that furniture at my house.
Yes.
I think.
Well, and it's fun.
Oh.
And it's like, I know our 6th graders just finished, you know, utilizing that for science. They made crystalline ornaments. They were so cute.
Yeah.
To the point that I was kind of like, kind of wish I would have made one. Like,
right. No.
You know,
yeah.
They were so cute. And they do. I mean, that STEAM lab is booked out. Like, it is used.
No, definitely.
It is. And it's, you know, it's nice that in the event of bad weather, it's open for the community to use as well to stay safe.
Right.
So.
Oh, well, we talked about that, you know, and, you know, the mayor and I were talking about, you know, when we had to use it for the snow.
Yeah.
Remember when some people were without electricity?
Yeah.
And we have the generator backup. I mean, that was a huge blessing for showers.
Right.
I mean, and I love it's there. It's a blessing and utilize it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we've used it for tornadoes, tornado warnings, you know, and
I think it's important to keep in mind that, you know, if I'm correct, and you would know better on this, but that was a FEMA grant.
Yeah.
To build that.
Yeah.
So that is a wonderful addition to our community that did not really affect our taxpayers as much.
Oh, no.
It was a grant.
Exactly.
And that's wonderful. Like, I don't know if sometimes people realize, no, this is what our schools are doing behind the scenes.
Right.
To improve the education possible for our kids and to benefit our community.
Right. And, you know, and real quick, they'll tell you the history. I think for those that have heard it before, I apologize in advance, but, you know, it was actually DL Reed is the one that filled out the applications, and really she stayed with it. She stayed the course. I mean, these are not easy to do.
Right.
Okay. And so that she got granted one school. So then to pick the one school, you have 3 schools, you know, the elementary, high school, and middle. But the reason that we chose the elementary was that was the most students.
Right.
So we thought, well, that would be okay. So we started with that. Well, then who knew a few years later that we'd be granted the other two?
Right.
And I think is it east of the Mississippi? We are the only school that has this. All
Oh,
three
wow.
schools. No, we're like, this
That's
is like,
awesome.
yeah, it really is. So if somebody from Mississippi is listening and want to head on up, you can see.
Listen, I'll help you get a loan. You can come live
Come
here.
on here. Yeah, come on. But anyways, come on. But anyway, so come on along. Let me take you by the hand up to the safe room.
It's never boring.
I'm sorry.
It's never boring
I'm
in
sorry.
the studio.
The things that go on in my head, the things that live rent free are like.
I was up at 4:00 this morning with things living rent free.
Yes. But anyway, so so it's a big deal, 4:00, and it's huge for our community, and
Yeah.
what a blessing. And I believe when you're gifted a gift from God, you better share it, you better utilize it and put it to use. And that's and we've seen that whenever we have had matters when they needed to happen.
Right. It's open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our people, our custodians and our law enforcement to our everybody just works wonderful on that. So works
love
great.
that.
Yep. All right. So tonight, 4:00.
4 p.m.
4
starting at the
p.m.
middle
Where to
school
be? Yeah.
And moving forward.
Move on over. All right.
Well, moving forward
Yes.
on the show today. So one of the things I was thinking about this morning is let's talk about record keeping. We're here at the end of the year. Taxes are just around the corner.
Yes. You and I, we are so we're the yin and the yang, okay? Because you know what I mean?
Well, one of the things that we are seeing a lot of, people are doing so many things electronically now.
Ooh.
And so a lot of times you do things electronically, you get your receipts in your email. It's so easy to delete those emails. You get receipts that you just throw away, especially if you're somebody who just files standard deductions. So it is coming here at the end of the year. Tax season is right around the corner. I do want to say you have until December 31st until the end of this year to file any property tax exemptions that you may be eligible for. Part of that is if you have already filed your exemptions, you do not need to refile them. But in the event that you have purchased this year, you need to go make sure your homestead exemption is in place, and any other exemptions that may apply to you. That will keep your property taxes lower.
Okay, so anything what are we talking about? Give us some suggestions.
So
let's say for somebody that has owned their home for a while, is there anything that?
It depends.
Okay.
So there is an over 65 exemption. If you're over 65, you can go file an exemption, lower your taxes. We do have a disability veterans exemption, a disability exemption. We have, and I'm seeing, this year we put on solar or actually last year we put on solar panels. A lot of people are having solar panels that are putting on. You actually get a tax deduction for that, property tax deduction.
Oh, wonderful.
There are heritage barns. I think we do still technically have surviving spouse of a World War I veteran. I think we still have somebody in Indiana that qualifies for that, so it does stay on the.
I love that.
But if you call up at.
What about a shower head? One that.
No, I don't think so. It's 3 pages long.
Less flow.
Yeah.
I got the conservative water shower head.
I don't know that qualifies, but you know what? They could tell you at the courthouse. So if you want to call.
I don't think I'll be making that call today. Just asking.
So
I'm asking for a friend.
For a friend. So you can file those at the auditor's office. Debbie takes care of those. If you have any questions, you can call the assessor's office and ask them. They're very helpful up there. So, that is something that's important. And again, you have to keep your records so that you can take it up there because you do have to answer some questions so that it can be recorded. Sure. But also, if you are looking to purchase a home, one of the things I was thinking about this morning is we typically have to verify your rent. So if you are renting, it needs to be verified. In most cases, I have to verify at least 12 months. And so that is something that a lot of people, especially in our community, still pay cash a lot for. And I think we've talked about this before, but I want to reiterate it because I am seeing it more.
Yeah.
Still seeing it. I don't want to say seeing it more, but I am still seeing it. But they'll come in and they're like, oh, well, I have receipts. Okay, great. What kind of receipts is usually my follow-up question on that, to which, oh, well, they just write me a handwritten receipt and here's the copy. And it's a receipt book like what you would see, from the local CVS or, Walmart, gas station, whatever. I can't use those because I can go to CVS or Walmart or, any place and grab a receipt book and I can go through and just write receipts randomly and hand them to you. It doesn't actually verify it. And so I have a lot of people that they're not happy with that. And sometimes when we are purchasing homes, we have people who have not yet told their landlords, hey, we're moving out, we're looking around. Understandably so, as far as, hey, if it doesn't fall out, I don't want to go ahead and give my landlord notice and then be homeless.
Right. Yeah.
So then that prevents me from calling the landlord and saying, hey, can you give me a verification of rent? Which sometimes, depending on what product, they don't like individual verification of rents because there is a higher chance that, well, maybe that landlord's not going to tell the truth. Maybe they want you out, or maybe they're your buddy, or,
Right.
So one of the things we absolutely cannot argue with is canceled checks. And I know people still don't like to use checks. We're in a very digital age.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. You can bill pay with your bank account. And actually, I do this because I'm too lazy to mail it. But I go in, I pay my water and gas bill every month through bill pay on my checking account. They mail the check out for me. And you can't argue with it because then you can actually get copies of that showing where it's cleared. We do have some people who pay electronically through, like, I am seeing more and more and more Zelle, Venmo, those online cash apps. And that is a valid fund.
Okay.
Like, that is valid.
Okay.
If you're paying your landlord through Venmo, through Zelle, through whatever, that is valid. But make sure you can get in and know how to pull your statements, because those, I've had people are like, oh, I don't get statements from them. Yes, you do. You do get statements. They're just all online. So you have to physically go into the website, which is a little difficult when you have it on your phone. A lot of people have it on their phone. It's not a big deal. But they do have a website. And so you can go to your website and you can pull those statements that show where that money goes, who it goes to. The kicker on that, though, is
this is so interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
These are things we're seeing, and it's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. And sometimes I've had customers that have been very embarrassed because when you send money through those apps, or even like Facebook Pay, you have to give a little description of what it's for. And sometimes people like to be cute, or they like to be funny, and they like to put things in there that maybe aren't appropriate. I see that.
Oh.
Yeah, so that is one of the things, just kind of as a heads up, in the event that you are paying your landlord, or you are paying, people through there, and you are looking to purchase a home, maybe in your memo, maybe don't put personal funny things.
Okay.
We do see that.
Okay.
So that's just kind of some of those things as we are moving more to a digital world, to these type of payment allotments. We can verify them, we can use them, but I do have to. And a lot of times what I have not yet figured out, and if somebody does know and wants to help, that's great. On your online bank statements, like if you bank online and you pay them with either checks or transfers or whatever, I can go in and we can do you're in my office, I'm showing you how to do it. But we can go in and we can do a transaction search just for that amount or just for that person. And it isolates all of them for 12 months. And that's great, because then I'm not seeing any of that other stuff. I have not yet learned how to do that on the Zelle or the, the Venmo or the Cash App. I don't know, because I don't use those a lot personally. So I am looking to see if that's something I can do. I do actually have a Venmo now, but I've not had it long enough to see that, that history. So that means I'm actually getting 12-month statements from you, and I'm seeing it all. So just kind of a heads up on that, we do have to verify things. If you're paying rent on time, chances are you're going to pay my mortgage on time. And I've had people that are like, well, why do you need to verify my rent? So I know you're making the payment. So I know you're going to pay me. Like I do have to verify it. Now, sometimes I can get by without it. If you've got a 700 score and you're putting money down, a lot of times I don't have to verify it. But usually if you fall under that 660, 680 range, that's one of my conditions, that you have to verify 12 months rent. That's something they want to see.
Sure.
So that means I do have to verify it. Now, if you rent from an apartment complex, which we have multiple around here, or you rent from a landlord that has multiple rentals and they have, like we have people around here that's what they do, I can get that filled out from the landlord or from the, the apartment complex, and it's fine. But we also have a lot of people that they don't. They just pay it month to month to an individual. Well, if it's an individual and they don't claim it on taxes because it's your grandma's aunt's sister, I can't use a verification of employment from them, or a verification of rent from them. Sometimes I have to have the hard copy proof.
Which would be, it's so good that you're talking about this, because for those that don't know this, I mean, and then let's say, I've been paying for rent, I've been renting for 3 or 4 years, but you have nothing to show for that.
Right. Because a lot of
that would be so discouraging.
I've never had a landlord. And this is the other thing of that. The only time they report to your credit bureau is if you owe them money and you go to collection or they have a judgment against you. They're not reporting to your credit bureau that you're making your payments on time. And so that is also something that can be used then as an alternative trade line. If you don't have a lot of credit, I can use your 12-month rent history as, hey, this is a alternative credit source showing they pay their bills, because your landlord's not reporting to your credit bureau unless you don't make your payment, and then they take you to court, or you have a collection on you. And then that doesn't look good.
Right.
And that's another thing I've told people. If you have a collection or a judgment for rent, you're going to have to take care of that before we move forward. Because if you're not paying your rent, you're not paying your mortgage, and my hands are tied. That's that's a hard stop for me.
Right.
Very hard stop.
Well, and that makes sense. You know, yeah.
Why would I let you buy a house if you're not paying your rent?
Right.
I
don't think, maybe others knew, but like when you're talking like PayPal or Venmo or whatever, I didn't realize that there was a record of that. I don't think a lot of people, or to my knowledge, know that.
Right, because you do it on an app.
Right.
And it's very hard. Again, I don't want to say you can't, because I don't know. I don't know that you can go on the app and pull your statement. But I have people that we go online on a desktop computer.
Right.
And that's the other thing. A lot of people don't have desktop computers anymore. They have their phones. They have their tablets. They have,
Yeah.
Because those are mini computers. That's like, okay, sometimes I just need you to come in so we can do it on a computer. And the amount of screenshots I get, and I've had to go back and tell people, and so I'll put this out there. I cannot use your screenshot. Your screenshot is not a valid source at all.
Okay.
And actually, Camissa just said she has found out you can pull up the history on your app. So that's good to know.
That's
She's
awesome.
a little more
Camissa.
tech savvy than me.
Well, yeah, but you guys work well together.
Yes,
that's
so that's great that you can do that.
Hi, Camissa.
I'm not yet doing it.
I want to say hi to Camissa.
Like I said,
We
I have
love
not
you,
yet done
Camissa.
it, but I don't know that, she's saying you can. So that's great.
Well, that's wonderful.
But
yeah.
Again, even on that, let's use that. Let's say, okay, you can pull it up. I still can't do a screenshot of it. It still has to be sourced and cited. And so a screenshot does not validate that.
What if it was emailed and then printed off?
It still cannot be a screenshot.
Okay.
Because it can't, So what we run into a lot of times, especially with people, is that like your bank transaction history or your Venmo, like I have to print it out because at the bottom is a URL of where it comes from. So like at the bottom, it'll say venmo.com, transaction history, whatever. That URL is what validates it for me. If you don't have an actual print out your whole statement, it's the URL that validates it, that shows, no, we did get this someplace. It is sourced. It's valid.
Right.
Screenshots don't work. And I've had people send me screenshots of their online mobile app for their banking. Doesn't work. I can't use it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Well, and then for those that are right now listening who maybe have been doing it the other way, today's the date, or this month, when we get to the end and you go to pay the next month, how should they need to turn it
If
around?
they've been paying cash, I have a ring on this. If they've been paying cash, don't pay cash anymore.
Okay.
And I have had some people that are like, well, that's how my landlord wants it. They want it in cash. Well, I understand that. But at the same time, you can't verify that. So that is a conversation you need to have with your landlord, because even if it's a matter of, I want the funds, I want to verify the funds are there, maybe they don't want like a personal check, then you need to ask them, can I give you a cashier's check? Because cashier's checks do have a receipt portion that has all the information on it.
And that would be good.
It validates it because it shows who it's paid to, who it's paid from. That's fine. We can do that if they want guaranteed funds, or ask your landlord, can I transfer it directly into your bank account?
Oh.
Because then I have a line item that says transfer to da. You know, and we can source that a lot of times.
But again, with that, okay, so let's say that I Venmo'd you for my rent. Okay, you were my landlord. Then again, how would you validate that that was what it was used for?
Because you can pull up profiles.
But I mean, is that where I would put rent?
Yes, on your
and you would see that, right?
And honestly, if you have, Camissa says hi.
You know, she's sitting. All I see is Camissa always sitting somewhere and sitting at work.
She's driving probably
in a beautiful sweater.
Oh,
I just know she's got a beautiful sweater on wherever she's at in this world. Every day,
that's funny.
She's just always looking beautiful in her sweater. Yes, sweaters. She's got beautiful sweaters. She looks beautiful in them. That's my.
I love that.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, you can pull up transaction history for 2023. I don't know if you can isolate it. So like, okay, if you have the same in your transaction history, you can have who you paid to. So like, if you have the same person 12 times paying $800, I mean, it has the person's name.
Okay.
So you can be like, oh, that's my landlord. I pay him $800 every month. Here's the last 12 months.
Yeah, and 12 times a year, you kind of got that. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so honestly, if I see that anyway on your credit bureau consistently, then not credit bureau, but your bank statements, my question and the underwriter's question is, okay, what's this $800 payment to so-and-so for? It's not on your credit bureau.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes we have that a lot of times with like the rent-to-own stores. American Rental or Groby's or, you know, like we'll see that. And I've had underwriters that have come back and said, what is this monthly payment to American Rental? Mm-hmm. And thankfully, I'm able to easily explain that because I'm aware of that.
Right, sure.
But there are some underwriters that, well, we need to see that contract to make sure that it's not a debt that we need to count in their ratio.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense.
And it does make sense. So, I mean, and that's the thing I tell people. When you're buying a home, we are looking through your bank statements. We're making sure we account for all the debt that you have. I personally don't care how many times you stop at the McDonald's or the Walmart or I don't care. I'm not judging you for that, but I am seeing if you are paying another person or another company that's not on your credit bureau, I'm making sure you're not going, what am I trying to say? I'm making sure you're not going negative. Non-sufficient funds. That's what I'm trying to say. Right. You know, because if you're constantly going in non-sufficient funds, I need an explanation why. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not keeping your account balance positive, then you're not managing your money well.
Right. But I think you're talking about for like your safety and the underwriter safety and the company safety, but also you're talking about the individual safety too.
Yes.
Because nobody wants that. Nobody wants to get a new home and then not be able to keep up with the payments or keep up with all of that goes into that. You know, you always hear like purchasing a new home. I mean, it's can I say this, the American dream, if you will. So
the American dream.
Dream on.
It's my new slogan. I help with the American dream. Actually, every time I hear the American dream, I think of Dusty Rhodes. So
okay.
For those of you who don't know, he's a wrestler from the 80s, 90s.
Which that's a whole nother program.
That is a whole
That's the
program.
After Hours program. Okay. All right. But going back to now you got me laughing. Okay. Going back though to that. And when you purchase a home, and I'm not the expert like you are, but you also will have to remember you have to live. The cost of living too.
Do not be home poor.
House poor. Yeah. So really, like it might anger the person sitting on the other side of your desk, Autumn, for you to tell me this stuff, but it's stuff that needs to be said, and it's stuff
Right.
that needs to be either corrected or explained, or right.
Well, and rates are a little bit higher, than what they have been in the last 5 years.
Didn't they go down a little bit?
They have gone down a little
Yeah.
bit. I actually saw some in the 6s again.
Yeah,
and that was nice. And actually, we had if I'm correct, yesterday we had a 5.0, so that's good.
Oh, people are going to run to you today. They're
So
going to flock.
it is a little bit stronger. Okay, keep in mind that doesn't mean that we are at 5%. It just means rates are trending down, which is nice.
I feel like there's going to be a run. Everybody's coming to you.
Maybe. But they are a little bit higher, and that's the other side of it, is that if you're not able to pay your $800 a month rent, how are you going to pay a $1,200 mortgage?
Mm-hmm.
Because your house payment, I love this. Your payment includes also your taxes and insurance most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's part of it as well, that you do have to keep that in mind, that sometimes your house payment is lower than rent. I've had people that have come in and their mortgage payment is $300 less than what they're paying a month for rent, and that's great. No payment shock, no issues. You're putting $300 extra. That I strongly encourage people, hey, put it to your principal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, make that same. You're used to that $1,200 a month. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and keep making it. Pay your mortgage off early. I don't ever do prepayment penalties, so you pay it off in 20 years instead of 30. More power to you. Think of all the interest you'll save.
Yeah.
But if you're going from $800 to $1,200 a month, do keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. That you are now cutting yourself $300 that you're used to having.
Right. Yeah.
And that is important. I don't want you to be house poor. I don't want you to be paying so much towards your mortgage that you can't enjoy life.
Right.
You know, and that is a conversation I do have with people. Mm-hmm. You've got to still enjoy life. You still have to keep in mind that cars are going to break. Water heaters are going to go out. Kids are going to need snacks all on the same day. I just literally spent $65 on snacks for kids' parties.
No doubt.
I have 3 and they all had it the same day. Like that does happen. That does add up.
Right.
And so that is something that you have to keep in mind. You still have to live.
Right. Yeah.
You still have to account for that.
Yeah. And I think that's something that you've always got to remind everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is so good. And I hope that a lot of people are listening to this or know somebody that might need to know all of this, because I think these are such good things, because if you have that like in your head, that kind of that plan of action, for 2024, I want to purchase a home and I want to do this. Well, then knowing that maybe if they've paid that, just that cash rent, and how to instead get it so that it is have paper trail.
Yes. And that's the key. Again, cash is king, but it can't be proven. And if you're purchasing a home, I need to prove everything.
This is like a slogan.
It is. And I say it
cash
many
is
times,
king,
but it can't be proven.
It can't be proven
at all. Cannot prove cash. And that's the other thing. If you are, I just had somebody message me and say, don't forget the number 1 rule, no big purchases when you're purchasing a home. And that's accurate. If you're trying to buy a home, don't buy a car 2 months before you're buying a home. Don't, and even as we're in the process, that's something I tell people, hey, I have pre-approved you right where your credit is now. Do not change it. Don't go make any big purchases. Don't go open credit cards. Don't go take out personal loans. Usually December is statistically not one of my busiest months, but the loans I do in December are also some of the trickiest. I don't want to say hardest, but they are tricky because people are Christmas shopping. And so we're opening new accounts, or our credit card balances are getting higher, or our funds that we have saved are depleting. So maybe I don't have the reserves that I would have had in August or September because now I'm spending it on Christmas stuff. Mm-hmm. So that gets a little tricky. Yeah. I remember I did a refinance one year in December, and they were like, the hardest thing was not to whip out that credit card and buy Christmas gifts. Like I realized throughout this process how quick I am to pull that out. But when I remembered, oh, I can't do that because it's going to affect my refinance. They're like, we really had to step back and think about, do we need to buy these things? And I think part of that leads to we frivolously buy. Absolutely we do. And sometimes we need that check of, do I really need this? You know, back to what we were talking about, being a minimalist lifestyle. Do we really need this? Especially, you know, I think about with my kids and their toys, especially when in 3 weeks I'm going to be throwing it away, or it's not going to be played with. It's going to be collecting dust.
Yeah.
Do I need to spend $50 on this thing, or, you know, $20 or whatever?
Yeah.
And so that's something to just, again, I'm going to come back and I'm going to group it all into record keeping. Keep track of your spending, your rent, your utilities. That's the other thing. A lot of times, if you're renting from an apartment, your utilities are included. When you purchase a home, your utilities are not included. You're paying that out of your pocket. So not only are you paying a house payment, but now you're paying gas and electric and water and plumb and sewer and trash pickup and cable and, you know, X, Y, and Z. So that is something to keep in mind, that it's not just your house payment now. You also have maybe sometimes these other utilities that you're not used to paying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Keep that in mind. You know, those are things that I probably should talk about more. And when we are sitting down and we're doing a budget sheet, those things are on my budget sheet. So we do talk about those. But in passing, that's not something that I, probably push as much as I should. But it is something to keep in mind. You get those things too. You're paying those things too. And right now, electric and water and, all of those, that's probably an additional, $250, $300 a month.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That you're paying for. Keep that in mind. You need to have a reserve for maintenance. Things do break. And this is something I do tell people. If something breaks, you don't get to call me and ask me to fix it. You don't get to call the seller and ask them to fix it. That's part of being a home buyer. Like if your water heater breaks, you're fixing it. If your furnace goes out, you're fixing it.
Right. Now, if they bought it when the homeowners bought it and it was told that it worked.
If you do a final walkthrough.
Yeah.
And I have seen things that work the day of closing that 3 months later did not work anymore. And that is not the seller's fault. That is just wear and tear. You have anytime we close a loan, your realtor has a seller's disclosure that labels everything in the house. It tells you when the roof was replaced, when, and that's another thing. Let's say you move in, the roof was fine. And, a year later you get a roof leak because it's just older. You don't get to hold the seller responsible for that.
So anybody purchasing a home what about appliances and stuff?
Appliances are not, so a lot of times, and I do see this, a lot of times appliances do stay with the home. Like that's not uncommon. It is not a requirement. Your purchase price does not include appliances. And as a matter of fact, like when I do an appraisal or something like that, it's very tricky because there's a 50-50 here where sometimes they're expected to be there, but they're not a requirement. And that is something that if it is not in the listing, now per my understanding, I'm not a real estate agent.
Right.
I do not practice real estate, but this is my understanding. If a home is listed with those appliances in it, those appliances stay. If the listing does not have the appliances listed and you want the appliances to stay, that needs to be negotiated out with your real estate agent in your purchase agreement. That is my understanding. Because appliances, and I have had to explain this to people, appliances are not part of your mortgage. Appliances are not permanent fixtures of the home. Appliances can be removed. So if a seller wants to take their appliances with them, and there's nothing in writing,
right,
that is their choice. So if that's not been negotiated out and you go to take possession and there are no appliances,
be prepared.
That's, and you did not negotiate that out, that's their right. Appliances are personal property.
Well, and I think that's good to know too. And you might go to purchase a home, and there might be something that they want to take with them, like a certain light fixture. I mean,
if I'm correct from what, and again, I'm not a real estate agent.
I mean, I know, but you do have to know.
No, I believe with like light fixtures, things like that, those are permanent with the home.
Mhm.
So like you can't
Unless
take
it
a light
specifically
fixture.
says.
Yes. Now, if you have a light fixture that your great grandmother gave
had,
you,
yes, yeah.
then that, my understanding on that is that no, that's negotiated out. That needs to be told up front. Light fixture in my bedroom will be replaced with, XYZ, or that's a personal item, personal property item seller wants to keep, or
Right, sure.
That's a more real estate issues. I'm going to have a problem if I get an appraisal back and I'm missing light fixtures. Like, that's going to have to be fixed for me.
Yeah.
But my understanding is anything that is permanently affixed to the property has to stay with the home.
Right.
So, like, you can't pull out a sink vanity. You can't pull out, permanently affixed things. Furniture, appliances, things like those are not permanently affixed. So there is that gray line. Like one time we had somebody take possession and all the flooring was out of the basement. And that was a problem. That was a huge problem, and it had to be fixed.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a big, big problem.
Yeah. Slightly, yeah. Well, I think you do. I mean, it's I mean, being a home lender that you are, you do have to kind of know. I mean, you kind of got to know a lot about everything, right, on all of this to make sure that you're protecting the person sitting on the other side of the desk.
And this is why I say this is the benefit of having a real estate agent to protect you, to advise you on those legal things. Because, and this is, I've had people that ask me, it's like, legally, first of all, I don't know. That's not something that I have studied or researched. Like, I know the basics. I've been doing this long enough. I pick up things.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know. I'm not a licensed real estate agent. Legally, I cannot advise you on real estate.
Right.
And if I try, I can get in trouble because that is a licensed position.
Right.
I don't hold a real estate license. And it's not me trying to be mean. It's not me trying not to be helpful. This is outside of my expertise.
Sure.
It is even any more than I don't like real estate agents talking to my customers about financing.
Right.
You don't have a right to tell my customer what kind of financing they're doing, what kind of loan they're doing, and how much they need down. Yeah. And don't tell my customer what their interest rate is. That's not your business, and that's not your expertise.
Everyone stay in their lane.
Yes. And that's not me being mean.
No. But I'm sure that they welcome that. Because you're the expertise on this. And
I don't practice real estate. Don't you practice financing? Because again, this is a licensed position. I have to go to school for, or not school, that's a lie. I have to do online training for. Sure. I have classes. I have a license. I just finished 12 hours of continuing education to renew my license for 2024.
Yay.
Well,
I think the thing too is in that. I think that's why stopping at your place first, at Leader One Financing, stopping there first, getting the ballpark figure of what kind of amount of house we can afford.
And where you're looking. So you're not looking at $124,000 homes when you're only approved for 70.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
And then next step would be the real estate agent.
Yes. And that's the thing. A lot of times real estate agents are good at saying, hey, you need to be pre-approved first. Like, you need to go talk to a lender first. So we know. And that's the thing. A lot of my real estate agents around here, and, they do know. Like, they know, hey, if you're looking at this home, you need to make sure you're not going FHA or USDA. It won't pass.
Right.
Because we have real estate agents that have been doing this for a long time.
Just like you do. I mean, it's like you know a little bit about theirs and they know a little bit about yours.
Enough to, enough to say, hey, I'm a little concerned about this. What do you think?
Right.
And I will. I mean, I have. If I have a real estate agent that's concerned, I will go out and look at a property. Again, and I tell them, in my experience, this is da-la-da, but again, I'm not an appraiser. I'm not a home inspector. I know enough from doing it for 18 years that this is what I have seen in the past.
Right.
I know enough. Like, actually, I had to argue one appraiser because I got hit for a handrail, and I literally went out and measured, and sent them the measurements and said, I don't need a handrail per code. And we went back and forth, and we did end up winning that. Because it's like, okay, per code, yes, it's per your discretion. And that's the thing too, a lot of people don't realize it is sometimes per appraiser discretion on what is safe and what is not. And there was one part that exceeded the height limit by an inch, and because of that, he conditioned us for a handrail around the whole porch. We were able to to come back and negotiate that and throw a little mulch there to bump that inch up, and we were fine. But it's one of those things that I've had drillers like, well, other lenders would just made us do it. Well, because of the home, in this, again, case by case situation, but because of the home, it was a very specific home, and the handrail did not meet the, like the age. It was kind of a historical home, and a handrail was not, and then it's like, why put it up? Because as soon as I move in, I'm taking it down.
Right.
So that was something we were able to negotiate out and fix for the integrity and of the home itself. This doesn't make sense. And technically, because of a little bit of erosion on this one part, you're hitting us for everything. We'll put the dirt back.
Right. Yeah.
We'll put the dirt back. We'll plant a bush, whatever. Right. There are some gray areas.
Right.
But again, at the end of the day, we always do what's best for the home buyer.
Right. Which is,
and the home buyer was like, I don't want it. I don't, and they were, not that I want to throw age out in there, but they were not somebody that I was concerned about falling off the porch.
Right.
Sure.
So so what we'd like to see is, like, for the end of the year, because, we're 2023, which, and then going into I know. And so you would like to see would you like to see them sit down and go through their finances? And
well, Becky, I'm a big fan of at least twice a year you need to go through an in-depth review of your finances. It's not going to always be pretty, but you need to do it at least twice a year so you know where you're at. Preferably, I prefer you to do it monthly when you balance your checkbook, but people don't do that anymore.
Right.
But yes, you need to, especially this is a great time as you're getting ready to go into the next year, getting ready for taxes, to file your income taxes. Have those receipts. See where you're spending your money.
Yeah.
See where, see where it's going. Again, be responsible for your own finances. Because at the end of the day, you can control that.
Right.
You can't control unexpected situations that arise,
right,
but you can control how many times are you stopping at the gas station spending $7 to $10. How many times are you going through the fast food drive line spending now? Honestly, now I can't even go through a drive-through for less than $10 just for me. And if I take the kids, I'm up to 40 and 50.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. No doubt.
Like how many times are you doing that a week? We are busy and we pay for convenience. And if you are willing to pay for convenience and you are financially able to do that, I don't judge you.
Right.
Because sometimes I pay a toll bridge because it's worth, my time is worth the 4 minutes that it costs me to pay $2 for that toll bridge or however much it is.
See, I'm just the opposite.
If I'm in a hurry, I'll pay it.
I think it's great. No, I mean, good, but we pick everybody picks their things.
Oh, no, sometimes I won't. If I'm coming back, I won't.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But
you're riding with me. We're taking it.
Again, though, sometimes people do pay for convenience, and that is just where we're at as a society.
Right.
But
and I'm not downing that.
Right.
No. And I get that.
It's
everybody's got their thing. You know what I mean? And I'm all for that. You know what I mean? But I think, Autumn, you bring up some really great points. And especially, okay, let's say that you want to set I know you got to go. For the 2024 year, you want to start a new start. You want to do fresh. Well, then and you want to make some changes in your life, changing a little bit of your patterns, your routines, which is always good, right?
Yeah.
And also making yourself better and making the new year better.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of thinking about that, it'd be a good time to start analyzing, looking and seeing what you're doing.
Right.
And just like I know early on, one of our first conversations on here was that sometimes people stop and do things like you talked about the convenience stores or whatever and don't realize how much that adds up. And we're not knocking that.
We're not knocking it, but be aware. And be aware that that's what you're doing. And don't, my biggest pet peeve is don't make an excuse when you're blowing $100 a month at the gas stations. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Yeah.
Take accountability for it though.
Yeah. Right.
Don't make excuses. be aware. And 90% of the time, people don't even realize how much they're doing.
Right.
It's $5 a day. Yeah, well, $5 a day times 30 days a month is $150.
Right. It adds up.
And that's a gas bill.
Absolutely.
So don't tell me your electric or your gas got shut off because you couldn't pay it, but you're going to the gas station buying, energy drinks or sodas or bags of chips.
Yeah. There you go.
Be aware.
Be aware.
Not judging, but be aware.
Be aware. Love that.
So,
all right, let's thank our sponsors.
Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Roses, Fox Pearly Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Leader One Financial, NMLS 12007. We are an equal housing lender.
And let's have the best day ever. Best day ever.
Let branch manager Autumn Scott Hall and her staff at Salem's Leader One Financial Office on the public square help you live your best dream with just the right financing. Autumn and Camissa are licensed for all FHA, VA, USDA, conventional, and jumbo mortgage programs. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned real estate investor, or simply looking for refinancing options, Autumn's team will help you and ensure you receive the right mortgage for your unique financial situation at a competitive and fair price. They'll communicate with you all the information you need to know when you need to know it, while offering the best mortgage loans for your financing needs. Call today to get started, 812-883-0670, or stop in and see Autumn or Camissa today at 18 Public Square, Suite A in Salem. We're ready to open the door to home ownership for you.
Turning Point Church in Scottsburg is a church of second chances and new beginnings and has something for everyone and every age. Showers for those in need are going to be available on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 6:15. Food will also be available afterwards. If you're in need of more than a meal, Turning Point has food giveaways twice a month. Coming up in December, they'll have December the 11th and December the 18th from 11 to 1 p.m. or until the food runs out. Turning Point Church is located at 899 West McLean Avenue in Scottsburg. For more information, contact Pastor John Jackson at 812-752-7857 or find the church's Facebook page online.
Indiana's going to win it, and they have won it!
5 times national champions, 22 conference championships,
3 on the way. Yes!
17 Big Ten Players of the Year,
Throws up a shot. High, hit it again!
7 Basketball Hall of Famers, and countless memories on the court.
Trace puts it up. Oh, he got it! What a spin move!
This is Indiana Hoosiers basketball.
When I first joined the board at Papa John's, I brought some big ideas.
We're gonna need more pepperoni.
But my biggest idea, the shakaroni pizza.
Make it bigger, make it bigger. More is better.
It's extra large with extra cheese and covered in more than 60 pepperonis.
When I say a handful of pepperoni, I mean my handful.
What makes shakaroni huge is that Papa John's donates $1 from every pizza to the Papa John's Foundation.
1, 2, 3,